What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Ham Radio Crash Course. Welcome to Saturday. I hope you're having a good weekend here. I know I am. Nice little chill weekend for me. We're going to be talking about APRS today. Automatic Packet Reporting System. This was definitely one of the most voted for votes we've ever had over on the Patreon side of the house. And yeah, so can't wait to talk about it because it is the mode, I guess you could say, that kind of kicked me into high gear with ham radio. So enjoy the memes as we get things started. Thanks for coming out. And how's it going, everybody? I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. Thanks for clicking on the Ham Radio Crash Course again. Got a lot of people in there saying howdy and they're all having a good weekend. A couple people out there doing some POTUS. So that's great. I saw Matt, and looks like Ham Radio for Non-Techies is in the house. How's it going, everybody? Let's see a couple more hellos in there. Yeah, well, hello, everybody. I am Josh, KI6NAZ. Again, thanks for coming out. So we like to do these little Saturday live streams where we talk about different aspects of ham radio. I myself am always trying to dabble in something new and interesting. And this is one where I'm going back to really what kicked off amateur radio for me and what really started my love of amateur radio. You know, you definitely love having an HT and talking on repeaters or talking simplex with people, but getting that little extra step of nerding out, geeking out with technology, APRS definitely has that. It's the ability for you to basically have packet radio in the palm of your hands that you can take in the field. You can do data messaging with it. You can do positioning information for where you are at based off of your GPS location, all that great stuff. And in fact, we're going to do a little demonstration of that kind of to kick things off here. But first, let me just go ahead and say, remind everybody that all of our little gear for our merch for Ham Radio Crash Course is available at hamtactical.com. So if you wanted to help us out over there, that would be great if you did that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull up something called APRS.fi, and this is just going to be the demonstration to kick things off. I'm going to go ahead and issue a packet really quick, and I've got some slides to talk about as well, but here's something I'm using or have been using for a little while among many other radios. This is a Kenwood THF6 connected to a Moby Link TNC. That, boy, that thing's really cool. We'll definitely be talking about that in the future, but I'm going to use this little tablet here, and I'm going to send my position. So this little button right here. Boop. And so now I've fired off my position. So we're going to let that sit for a second. We're going to let that brew, hopefully making it to the iGate APRS backbone. And I'm going to open a beer while it's doing that. I was at Bevmo yesterday. Boy, I got a lot done yesterday. I did a POTA activation. I dropped the kids off, picked them up from school. I went to Bevmo. I got some other video stuff done. The POTA I did was at a beach ecological reserve, so it was kind of on the other side of the freeway for PCH, for those of you that are familiar. I was on the ecological reserve side, and there was a straight up an air show going on, which is amazing. So I now have a cat cup chalice that I'm going to put my my beer in to kick things off while we wait for our APRS beacon to land. Alrighty. There you go. And to christen this chalice, I have possibly one of my favorite beers. This is Beer Geek Breakfast. This stuff is awesome. So, already questions coming in. And hey, guys, I will try to answer as many questions as I can. Just make sure when we get towards the end of the slide package and start to do some of the experimentation that we'll definitely be taking your questions. Just make sure you at Ham Radio Crash Course when you're doing it. The first question, though, is one that I've gotten a lot of recently. How do you use APRS but maintain your privacy? You don't. There is no privacy in ham radio. There's no privacy in ham radio. I hope everybody understands that. The only privacy is that some aspects of it are a little bit more esoteric or a little bit more confusing for people to get into, so that your amount of people that are actually working in that space is much less. Somebody asked me, what kind of beer is this? This is a stout brewed with coffee. That's right, coffee stout. Breakfast beer, beer of champions. In the Cat Cups chalice. All right, so let's go back real quick to APRS.fi, and I'm going to track myself. I'm KI6NAZ. I'm going to do a little search here. By the way, if you haven't seen this, and my logo is blocking it, so let me hide that for you. Upper right-hand corner is where you type in a call sign, and there is a dash number that usually follows a call sign when you're on APRS.fi. I will explain what that means as we get into the slides, but I kind of wanted to kick it off with explaining what this is. So let's do a search for me. And it looks like my packet didn't make it. So we'll do another one. I was playing around with a bunch of radios, and I am going to show you a couple different radios. But we can go and have you take a look at where I was last. Here's where I was at. I am KI6NAZ-7 running around some part of Cerritos. And if we pull back a little bit, we can see who picked me up. There we go. I got picked up by N6LXX-10, which is a digipeater in the area. So he was the one that heard my packet, which ultimately led it to the internet through the iGate. All of this may sound really confusing. I hope I explain what it all means as we get to the end of this video, but that's a little bit of a taste of what's going on. I'm using my radio to transmit a packet of information to a digipeater, which is kind of like a repeater, and it connects to the internet or sends it to someone else, another digipeater that then connects to the internet. But let's carry on forward. Let me pull up my slides and we can start there. Yeah, and just remember to hit the at ham radio crash course when we get to some of the questions, or if you have something related to what I'm talking about and you want to add to it. So here we go. All right, automatic packet reporting system or report system. It's great. Just try it. It's a lot of fun. It really is. But let me give you a little bit of a background on it. APRS was a digital mode, or is a digital mode, that's based off of AX.25 packet radio. Packet radio was long in use before the internet age of things to exchange information over networks. Bob Berninga, and I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. WB4APR developed it in 1982, that being APRS, on an Apple IIe computer. I believe he was working with the Navy or was enlisted at the time, and he demonstrated its capability. And it was modified slightly in 84 to what we are more commonly in use today. There have been updates to APRS as it's kind of moved along the years, but primarily it's still largely working the way it was designed to work. There's some nuance, particularly in how you can hopscotch through digipeaters that we'll talk about, but largely kind of the same. APRS today is like sending text messages with your radio. That's kind of what we're doing. But those text messages, based off of the data package, the information package that's inside of it, could do extra things, fun things that would probably be really interesting for some of you from an amateur radio standpoint. These messages are retransmitted by APRS repeaters, which we call digipeaters, and some of them may be connected to the internet using a device called an iGate, or acting like an iGate. And an iGate is just like an internet gateway. That's really what it is. So it's going from an RF standpoint to an internet gateway standpoint. What makes APRS special is it's kind of almost chaotic in the broadcasting and rebroadcasting of the same packets over and over, increasing its effective footprint. Who can hear your packets right from your radio, and either expiring or reaching then this iGate that I talked about and making it to the internet APRS backbone, which is used for a variety of things. This duplication and retransmission allows it to be robust without creating network collisions. And yeah, that's exactly what's happening here. For anyone who's used packet radio back in the day, packet radio, you would just be on the same frequency and people would try to make these connections in, and there was only so many connections you could have on a packet radio TNC or node at any one time, because you'd start getting collisions because you're all on the same frequency exchanging this information. Well, APRS is crazy with the amount of packets, particularly where I'm in Southern California, but they get around with some of those collisions by duplicating the transmission and timing the spacing between transmissions appropriately so there isn't as much of those collisions. And again, for those of you that read the note or caught the question in the technician question pool, right, what does it mention about data collisions? It's when you have the same information meeting on the same frequency and you're transmitting in relatively the same area. Boy, I must be getting messages. Oh, by the way, I am KI6NAZ-7 on APRS, so if you want to start messaging me, you can do that, and we'll read them later. All right, let's get some of the terminology out of the way first so that I don't get caught saying a bunch of acronyms, because I know people starting out can sometimes get a little tough to deal with the acronyms. So here are some of them. A digipeater is just like a voice repeater, right? When you talk into a repeater and everybody can hear you and it's on a mountaintop and it's got a good footprint. Well, digipeater's the same thing, but a digipeater is only doing the job of receiving packets from APRS and then retransmitting them, sometimes multiple retransmissions at one time. That allows for a layered, almost like an onion approach to one digipeater gets the packet, retransmits it. It's a wider packet or wider footprint now. Another digipeater hears it. They retransmit it, et cetera, et cetera. So you get this kind of flowing out of packets of information, all from your handheld. An iGate, as I've already mentioned, is an internet gateway for APRS packets. That allows us to do some of the Internet of Things features that we will talk about here in a little bit. A TNC is a terminal node controller, okay? There are TNCs in some radios, and TNCs are also physical boxes. Specifically, though, for APRS, we want to think of it like a modem, kind of, in that it converts the baseband digital signals into audio tones. So it is taking this text string of information, creating audio tones out of it and firing it out of your HT that then get picked up by other radios and ran through a TNC, which comes back out as a digital signal. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. That's how audio becomes a text message. Right. Many use keep it simple TNCs now, and they are basically non-processing bodies. They are digital to audio converters primarily, digital audio converters primarily. But TNCs of the past, when we used to run packet radio stations, actually had microcontrollers in them, and those microcontrollers would do some processing internally in that box. So now we kind of push that functionality off to the Raspberry Pis to handle, or computers, or your radio, which is now as powerful as a little tablet in some cases, or these little tablets like the one I'm running right here. So just to be clear, everything I just mentioned, right, is summed up by this little setup I've got, which is my tablet, which is the processing body. It's the one that's receiving the digital baseband signals, converting them into those texts that you're seeing. And let me see if I can, is this, let's go up there. Yeah, so these are all the stations I'm hearing from my home with that connected Kenwood radio. The Kenwood radio is receiving the RF, demodulating it and getting audio out of it, and the TNC is converting that from the audio out into its Bluetooth transfer of the digital baseband for the tablet. I'm going to mute this thing because it's going to drive me crazy otherwise. There we go. Very good. And for who asked me, did I have a successful activation? Yeah, I had a successful activation. Man, the air show alone was amazing. The Thunderbirds, I'm pretty sure it was the Thunderbirds, because I think Blue Angels were this morning. And it was an air show that's going all weekend. What a fantastic, and I'm going to have video of it. I'm literally operating, and I framed the camera, hopefully, so you can see some of the planes in the background flying along. Okay, baud is a measurement of symbol duration time. In APRS generally is transmitted at 1200 baud, or roughly 1200 characters per second. So that's how many characters we're sending out with these squawks of APRS tones. And I'll let you hear what they sound like just so you're familiar with it. And then GPS, you hopefully know what that is. Global Positioning System is an important part if you want to do positioning with APRS. But I want to be really clear. That's why I'm mentioning this right up front. In no way is APRS only about positioning. It is not. It is a handy thing. It is definitely something you can do with APRS, but you are in no way required to put your position out on APRS. You can turn that whole thing off, and you can use it just for sending messages. And we'll talk about that as we go along. All right, so common APRS use cases, or what you might use APRS for. You have an HT fitted with GPS. I know I just got done saying you don't need to do positioning, but this is a common thing people do, although you really don't have to. And in fact, I don't find the location use of APRS at all that compelling when I'm in my home, but I still absolutely use it for some convenience things that we'll talk about, particularly when I'm in and around my shack. HTs have fitted GPS receivers and TNCs and can send APRS beacons that denote their location, right, lat long, their direction, their speed, and their elevation. Direction is another word for heading is another term that would be used here. So all that information can be squawked out with these beacons, picked up by these digipeaters, and then displayed on the internet via aprs.fi. Most APRS stations can also send messages to other stations even without the GPS positioning equipment, which I've mentioned. The destination is often a call sign plus an SSID. And in my case, I am KI6-7, as 7 denotes that I am on an HT. And what does that look like for the rest of them? Well, let's take a look. The common SSIDs that are used are 0 through 15. There are some specialty cases as well. Oh, by the way, I'm totally going to forget this. I just remembered it. The ISS passed overhead. The ISS has an APRS digipeater. I received 2 packets. I couldn't get myself out there because I was just using my mono band on the roof. But yeah, I was receiving APRS packets from the ISS this morning, which was super cool. Anyway. Continuing on. A dash 0 is going to be your primary station, usually fixed and message capable. And then you've got a bunch of different options. Walkie-talkies are generally 7. So if you have a walkie-talkie, you probably want to set up as 7. Primary mobile is going to be like your car's mobile radio with 50 watts. 10 is internet, iGates, Echolink, WinLink, AVRS, APRN, all of those service type systems that take the APRS packets and merge them into another system. Those are usually a dash 10, and that's who picked me up when I did my squawk earlier today. That station is a 10 station, so likely an iGate in this case. All 13s are weather stations, 14s are truckers, and generally full-time drivers. So you get an idea. You can read the rest of them. The link is in the description for a lot of this, and they'll be on the slides that the Patreons get. So another perk for joining Patreon, I send my slides to you guys. All right. And there we go. These stations can be outside RF range, moving their packets through local digipeaters or iGates over the backbone. Yeah, okay, I got that. Okay, so some of the advanced APRS use cases and functionalities that you may have is sending APRS messages over, sending SMS messages over APRS. Much like was just shown on that packet that got picked up earlier, that dash 10 digipeater, being that it has an iGate, if I message or compose my text message on my radio correctly, it will route to a system called SMSGTE. If I use the format there, the 2-line, SMSGTE space @ the phone number you want to reach, and then the message, it will actually fire off a phone SMS message to that individual. If that individual then turns around and responds to that message, that phone number that sent the message on your behalf will forward that SMS message to you via APRS over that iGate, most likely, that picked you up on the first place. So you have a ham radio device, potentially you're out in the field, you don't have cell phone reception, you use your handy-talkie, you fire off a packet, it gets picked up by a digipeater, that digipeater retransmits, it gets picked up by another digipeater, that digipeater has a iGate, and that iGate then spits that out into SMSGTE. Pretty cool. So that's super awesome functionality, particularly if you're in the field. So yeah, anyway. All right. Next one. Okay, so this is return path. Yep. By the way, Dennis86DM has an APRS document and some of the cool pro features on how to use SMS GTE. I have demonstrated this on my tablet video on why you need an Android tablet if you want to get involved with ham radio. Definitely go check that out because that video covers a lot of how you can use this. We went into more detail with the SMS GTE, but let's see. Andrew Wells, the SMS GTE recipient need to have a call sign or otherwise licensed. No. So because the SMS GTE is sending it to the internet, and then the internet is passing that to the individual. So you can be sending it to your loved ones or whatever when you're out in the field. They do not have to have an amateur radio license because they're using their phone. They're using their phone and SMS to do that. At no time is it any of their responsibility to have a license or be on a radio. Oh, good. Hey, and JCW2J, good mention there as well. There is an APRS SMS gate that you can use, and you can leverage some APRS capabilities if you are in or a fan of JSA Call, which is an HF mode. Generally requires a computer or a Raspberry Pi to use it. Similar functionality you can get out of that. And there's a couple of applications you can download that can make your life a little bit easier when running it. So, yeah, thank you for the reminder, JC. Good call. Yeah, let me pull that up too so we can show you. Where is it? There it is. This is actually a fantastic service. I would like to bring it up just so that people keep in mind what this is. So what this is it's a there's some amount of phone numbers that they're keeping, and they are using those phone numbers to send text messages. There's some cost overhead to maintain this system. So if you've ever used this system and you found it helpful, you might want to definitely mention or give them a little donation there. They got a link in the right there. I think it's to their PayPal. Actually, no, they'll take all the credit cards. But anyway, that's what it's doing, right? So this 73 here. And your APRS radio is down the lower left. You get a radio tower. The iGate is the internet gateway. It goes into the APRS.is internet service, which is a cloud within the larger cloud of the internet. Then you've got the 73 SMS GTE system here in the middle that's brokering this communication over a SMS gateway service. And then that goes through the cellular tower, and it's in the traditional service-based setup. Okay. Back to the slides. WinLink. Okay, so there are WinLink controls that you can do over APRS. We'll talk about one specifically, but the rest of these actually work pretty well. And let's just go ahead and give you an example of that as well. Let's pull it up. Wrong one. There we go. All right, so WinLink APRS link, you'll have to set up a connection, a login connection, which some people may not want to do that. I personally don't want to do that. There are some ways around it, and this document explains it. I may try it in the future, but I haven't yet. But if you have this set up, you can send a message, right, an APRS message to APRS link. No, hold on, where is it? WinLink, WLNK-1. If you send a message to them and append it with any one of these commands like L, it will give you a list of pending message. 5 is the maximum it will return to you. And then you could say an R with a number, and that message will then be sent to you for you to read on your APRS radio. This is very much bulletin board system to me, PBBS. Back in the day with packet radio. But yeah, it's still pretty cool that you can do that from your radio. And then, of course, as I did today, APRS on the ISS. There is a digipeater on the ISS, which is really, really super cool. All right, so what's the deal with wide? And what is that? For those of you hearing wide, what does that all mean? So there is hopefully you're getting the idea that with APRS, you transmit, a digipeater will pick it up, and then it will retransmit. And then potentially another digipeater will pick that up and retransmit that again. Well, that's something that you have to control via the settings that you set in your radio. And it's all about the retransmission. Wide is the amount of hops, basically, your packet takes and what reacts to them. What reacts to them being the stations that are hearing do hear and choose not to retransmit, for example. So one of the major reasons to use APRS is that people on the go with HTs and even mobile radios have their packets retransmitted by digipeaters. This increases the propagation or footprint capability of your radio, basically, as the original packets called on a wide N digipeater. Wide N-N is the N is a variable for how many times it's going to retransmit. Digipeaters that hear the retransmissions will further retransmit the packet a given number of times until the number of wide N hops has been reached. A wide 2-2 will retransmit 2 times basically before expiring, although I have a little bit of a demonstration for that. Reaching more digipeaters will increase the chances your packet makes it to an I-gate, which is what a lot of people are looking for, particularly for the enhanced functionality. And to make it clear, when we point people to aprs.fi, right, the website, to track our adventures, it's made possible by the APRS internet backbone. So the I-gates being involved is a requirement. We need that if we want people to be able to go to aprs.fi. Fill-in digis, as they're sometimes called, or sometimes called at-home nodes, or just non-wide N-N digipeaters, are like your smaller home digipeaters. Like this radio will digipete. Is this a mountaintop 50, 100 watt radio that is good for digipeating? No, it is not. And APRS does have consideration of that. So here's an example. Hopefully you can see this okay. This is a wide 1-1 with a local node, a fake station in the middle there, right before it gets to a repeater. When you set wide 1-1, your radio will transmit. It will potentially get picked up by your local station, your home station, and the digipeater will get it. And because it's wide 1-1, it likely won't be retransmitted. It's just picked up that one time, and then that's it. Wide 2-1, it does get picked up by the repeater and the local station, and it is retransmitted at the digipeater site. In the case of a wide 2-2, you have your home person, you have a home station, it connects to it, it hears the packet, retransmits the packet. The first digipeater gets it at wide 2-2. It retransmits that. The second one picks it up as wide 2-1. So there's the decrementing the number of sends. And then the other repeater is wide 2-1 with an asterisk, and it's not retransmitted. And again, we've got a good example of that here that I will show you. Where did it go? Oh, where did it go? Did I lose my link? Oh, here we go. I got it. Okay, so this has changed. The new paradigm. The new paradigm in how we talk about these retransmittings, these hops that it takes, that's changed. I believe it changed in like 2009 or something like that. So looking at here at the bottom, this white box, right? It's saying there's two packets, or one packet that has both wide 1-1 and wide 2-2. When the fill-in or at-home station does the first hop, the wide 1 gets basically asterisk, and then it's expired at that point. If a high-level digi does the first hop, and a high-level digi means digipeater, like a repeater on a mountaintop, a high level or a full wide NN digipeater does the full hop, it takes it, asterisk the wide 1, and will now decrement, send out the wide 2-2 as 2-1, being the first decrement. The next high order digi repeater will then transmit that to 1, again decrementing that, and the last digipeater that sees it transmits it, and it is now thrown an asterisk. Well, that's a little complicated way to explain it. Was there a better way of looking at it? Yes, there is. Let's take a look at the animated GIF. And I said GIF. Sorry about that. So you're the mobile user in the car. You have a home fill-in station, and you send wide 1-1 and wide -2. Boom. That's how many digipeaters you hit. So you hit the first one, your home. That sends to the high level. The wide 1-1 is asteriskized or expired at that point. and then the wide-2-1 gets decremented to wide-2 on the high level, the third or second, depending on how you look at it, digipeters that pick it up. And then at that point, it's expired. Once everybody's fired off like that, you're done. That's how that works. All right. All right, so let's break down the APRS packet a bit. We're going to get a little nerdy with this. So we're looking at an AX25 UI frame format packet. I'm not considering if this is most significant bit or least significant bit. Basically, the direction you're reading doesn't really matter. What we're looking at is the size of the individual fields of the AX.25 packet in bytes, right? So 8 bits to a byte. The first byte of a frame format for a packet is the flag. The next one is the destination address where it's going, and the answer to this might not be the ham radio operator you're trying to send it to, but could be something else. Source address is likely who you sent it or who the digipeater that is retransmitting it for you sent. Digipeater addresses. Control field is a static number. It doesn't change. Protocol ID I don't think changes either. And then you have the payload, call it. It's like 1 to 256 bytes there. And that payload, the information field, is where you're going to get the added functionality that is what we know as APRS. Again, this is an AX25 packet format. This is like it is a more low-level packet. The actual nitty-gritty of how APRS works, a lot of it is going to be in that information field, like your format for your position, your heading, your speed, all that stuff. That is going to be broken down in the information field. Your FCS is a checksum, basically, and then a flag is basically to close out. That is one packet of data, right? So you started with the flag, you end with the flag. So because these are not time-based systems where we can chunk them out, we send out a packet with a beginning, a header, and a footer, basically. So that denotes whoever received it as both, one, they have a checksum in that FCS for data packet validity, and then the flag tells you, I'm all done, I can stop with that packet. We can stop. I did include some of the background here, but I kind of already covered it. And if you want to know this, it's in the PDF file that I linked in the description. But I will go in to the information field a little bit. This field contains the This field contains more APRS data. The first character of the field is the APRS data type identifier that specifies the nature of the data that follows. So generally, whatever it is it's doing, specifically a beacon, direct message, or whatever. So yeah, you'll enjoy that. If you're so inclined, you can go read that PDF. Okay, so how do you get started in APRS? And I'm going to take questions after this, and we're going to go to the tabletop, and I'm going to show you a little bit more, particularly with the FT5. The FT5 has been a stellar performer of APRS. I've been playing with it all day. All right, getting started in APRS for me is easy or expensive, right? You can have, easy or cheap. Easy versus expensive, easy versus cheap. The way to look at this is the cheapest way to get started with APRS is to get yourself a Baofeng or similar inexpensive Chinese radio, buy the appropriate cable, which I've linked in the description, and connect it to your phone. And on your phone, you're going to use one of two applications, APRS.fi for iPhone or APRS Droid for Android. I have a video up on this as well. You can look that up on how to use it. In fact, that tablet video will show you how to use APRS Droid, and I have another video somewhere for the iPhone users out there on how to use that. A more robust and more expensive solution, I think, a better all-around solution because it gives you more options, is to pick up a Mobi-linked TNC3. The downside with the Mobi-link, as you can probably see, let me show you that right here. It's a device that you have to keep charged. It's that little black box next to the Kenwood radio there. That's the TNC. It does Bluetooth. It takes the audio in from the radio. It also sends audio to the radio, but that's another battery that you have to keep charged and another thing you got to remember to keep with you and all that fun stuff. So it may not be for you, but the advantage of the Mobi-linked TNC is that you buy it once and then you just need the appropriate cable to adapt it to whichever HT you happen to be using, and it will work with like I think it'll work with just about any HTs. You just need to pick a cable or build a cable that will allow you to key the radio. That would be my only recommendation. Don't really want to use Vox with APRS. Has been kind of my education in how to do a lot of APRS stuff. So, James Hannibal says Pocket Packet works on iPhone directly with Baofangs as well as the MobiLink. Yeah, I didn't have as much fun with Pocket Packet. You might have had a better time with it. I never really liked Pocket Packet, but try it out. There are multiple APRS applications in the various app stores, so take a look. Now, much like how do I want to put this? There are a bunch of now discontinued APRS-capable radios, and I'm going to talk about a couple of them. And I'm going to mention some ones that I think are really good. I'm going to mention ones that I don't think are good, and we'll talk a little bit about it. As of today, the only radio that I know of from the Japanese, the major three, that does APRS is the FT5D. It's good implementation. Reminds me of the FT3 and the FT2 before that. The D72 is obviously retired from Kenwood, and the D74 has gone along with it. There's possible chances that it could come back in the future if parts come back to availability, or they do a redesign like they did with the FT3 to the FT5 for the Yaesu and the ID52 and all that fun stuff. Now, the Kenwoods, the D7s, the D72s, and the D74s are all very, very good, capable APRS radios, because Kenwood had a very bright idea of allowing you to use a USB connection on the radio to connect to the TNC directly with a computer. And it is an opened TNC. You can do what you want with it. You can connect to it. You can run whatever kind of data you want through it. The other radio manufacturers do not allow that, including the Chinese radio manufacturers. So if you want a really, really, really good APRS experience, you pretty much have to go with a D72 or a D74 if you want to connect it to a computer. If you don't care about that, then you don't really need to worry about it. Plus, it's not something that you're going to spend necessarily a lot of time with. You could. I don't know if this is a really deep aspect of the hobby for you. Great. That's probably where you need to look. Keep that in mind. Okay. As far as I know as well, the only radios that get close to getting the full nod on APRS capability on the Chinese market is the Anytone 878 UV Plus, I believe. And it's the new one. The previous model of the 878, which is what I own, will only beacon APRS. It will not message. And to be honest, again, if your radio is only beaconing APRS, it's still a value if you go in the field, but that's not where it's at for me, and that's not something that I think we should limit ourselves to. We don't have to. We don't have to limit ourselves at all, right? Hey, Brett Berger, thank you so much for upgrading to general membership there on the Ham Radio Crash Course. Appreciate it. Thanks for the support. I did review the HG UV98 a couple of months ago. It's the radio I held up earlier today. This guy. This is a beacon. It'll receive beacons and transmit beacons. Won't message, but it does have Bluetooth, so you can connect a tablet to it to get full APRS capability out of it. The intriguing thing about this guy is that it digipeats, which is pretty handy. The Kenwoods also digipete, and a lot of mobile radios digipete as well. So that's pretty good. So getting started is as cheap as getting a programming cable, not a programming cable, sorry, an audio interface cable for your Baofeng. If you are an iPhone user or a phone user that doesn't have a headphone jack, you will need some kind of dongle to switch from the 3.5 millimeter jack into whatever it is your phone takes. So keep that in mind. You might as well buy one of those too if you don't have it. Otherwise, that's not going to work. So here's some important links. That's Dennis's link right up top. Dennis, great job on that document. Looks really good. APRS.fi is a great place to check out and have some fun with APRS stuff. And yeah, other links are in the descriptions as well. So we're not wrapping anything up yet, but I will take this moment to remind everybody, if you have APRS questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I will try to answer them to the best of my ability, or we'll demonstrate them live. But if you have very specific questions about like why this radio won't do APRS, I highly recommend you join us on Discord. The link is in the description. The Discord, we have an after chat after every live stream, and we're generally much more able to deep dive problems than me looking at a chat and trying to fix your discrete issues that you may be having. So high level questions are appreciated, or questions that are a little broader would be good. Well, I'm going to switch over to the FT3 right now, and we're gonna do a couple beacons, and then we'll come back to APRS.fi because I had some issues with my Moby link. And I'm not obviously seeing myself. Yeah. To 4 hours and 38 minutes ago. So Dawn asked a very good question. I'll just answer it before I move over. Why connect an HT to a computer? What is the use case? Well, portable digipeating. If you're actually going to be sending messages over APRS, like if you're running software, it's called YACC, yet another APRS client, YACC. That allows you to just be able to type, which a lot of the radios, even though they're very good at doing APRS, they're a nightmare to type messages on. So having a tablet like I have, or a computer that get in there and help you out, that's a lot of it takes a lot of pain out of your hands, I think. Yeah. Okay. Let's throw it over to the overhead. Let's have some fun with the FT5. Actually, we'll send one. I'm gonna send one more. I'm gonna try one more time. Let's figure out what's going on here. Am I even getting messages? Is that? Oh my God. I am getting messages. Okay, well, holy smokes. Well, I guess that's working. Thank you, everybody, for the messages. Let's take a look at some. All right. Can you guys see that okay? Let me zoom in a little bit. Enhance. Wow, look at that. You guys super nice. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time. All right, so if we go in here, we can see enjoying the show. I can go, thanks. Boom. Send it. Or not. Go. Okay. Well, we'll come back to that. So here's a cool one. LW9EYP says hello from Argentina. Can you see that? Here we go. Focus. Hello. Okay. Oh my gosh, they keep coming in. So yeah, SMSGT. Ooh, boy, you sent me on your text message. Don't send me SMSGT, or you're gonna get your you're gonna be your cell phone's gonna come across. Don't do that. Cam4ACK sent one. Last APR message. Hi. Oh, he sent a couple. Hold on, let me go back up. Boop 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 boop. Did he make it? We got a. There we go. We got somebody from the UK, MM0XET. Good evening, Josh. Like the stream. Cheers from Gary. Hey, Gary. How's it going? So you get the idea. All these messages came in. I got to be careful here so I don't. Hey, there's Wes. He's in Montana. Feel free to use me as an example. There you go. You've been used. Co-Wave. Cheers and beers. Check your ambiguity settings. You are offshore. Yeah, no, I was playing around with those. I've adjusted them. Somewhat. Yeah, you can add ambiguity. I'll show you how to do that too here shortly. Yes, Scott, I do. I have well, I had I beaconed at 4 numbers off, and that sent me into Catalina Island. But I've now since corrected that to be 2 digits off, and that seems to be kind of the sweet spot. So, all right, we'll come back to the messages, or we'll do that on the after chat. Let me check this one. Okay, good. All right. So let's send one more beacon, see if this works. Otherwise, I'm gonna sack this guy for a little bit. There's the red light went on. Did he transmit? Oh, no wonder. It didn't transmit. Look. Oh wait, there it goes. Okay, never mind. I was freaking out. Okay, well. We'll let that percolate. Let's get the FT3 in here. Have some fun with that. Oh, I need my BNC adapter. Yeah, so Kiro Kirovoleg says, cool, my message arrived. LW9EYP, hard to type on the FT3. Yeah, that's the reason why you want a computer or a tablet or something along those lines, as it can be kind of a pain. Okay, so here's the FT5. What am I stuck on? All right, I'm gonna go. There we go. All right, so now we're on APRS. I'm just gonna get crazy amounts of messages and crazy amounts of beacons that this receives. APRS is literally just crazy down here. Oh, also, back to Don's question on why you want to use a tablet or computer. You get much better visualization of where people are at. Much better way of seeing where they are at actually displayed on a map that you can actually use to potentially help somebody if they're lost or if you just really want to know where somebody's at. All right, let's go back. I'm going to fire off a beacon. Oh, come on. That's right. Somebody's transmitting. Come on. Ah! I'm getting messages on this side now, too. This is the battle I have with APRS. See how fast all the signals are coming in? It locks me out. Oh, I don't have GPS yet either, so we'll give it a minute. Oh, man, jury member. I don't know what you're talking about. I just saw your comment. I have no idea. Man, you're going to have to send me a DM somewhere and let me know the background on that one. I am not following that that at all. Wow. Okay. Come on. You know what? Let's hold it like that. This thing just had APRS and then it died out. I'm sorry, GPS. Let me give you an example of while this is trying to figure itself out on the GPS. Let me go back. Bring up messages. Okay, so here's all the messages that have come in just in the short time that we've been talking. So that's part of the problem I have with this is the screen. This is a new screen pops up. So it's like, well, show me the message. What am I supposed to do? There we go. Hello from Amarillo, Texas. Enjoy the channel 73. So here let's mention Don's point. So let's go in here. We'll go edit text. So now I've got to delete this. And I'll go thanks. Who remembers late 90s, early 2000 phones? You up on that 10 key, fellas? And we'll go 7-3. Okay. And we'll go back. And we'll go transmit. So it transmits that fine. Now I got GPS, so we're good. Okay, so that fired off. All right, let's send out my beacon. God. Wait. Just constantly blow it up. Look, it's still... Ah! Okay, I made it. All right, good. All right, so let's go back over to APRS and APRS.fi and see if I got up on the site. The nice thing about the FT3 and some of these other radios is you get a really pronounced noise that you made it. Oh yeah, I mean, Don, it's really, there's no reason not to use an HT, but convenience-wise, it's nice if you. Yeah, I'm still not in there. We'll give it a second. It's nice if you have a, keyboard or something like that. APRS DOS attack on John. No, Jody, that's just the way my APRS is down here in Southern California. It is crazy how many people have APRS down here. Let me clear everything off here. There we go. Those are all the APRS signals in Southern California, and I can hear all of them with the antenna I have on the roof. It's just a nutso amount of APRS. It is like a DDoS attack. That's definitely true. K8XG got through. Let's go to my little page here. Where am I? What's the deal? Okay, let's break this down a little bit. It says I'm off duty. It gives the location of where I am in the locator in that particular beacon that I fired off. I was using wide 1.1 and wide 2.1. That's primarily what I use. 49 seconds between packets, blah, blah, blah. So these are the stations that are near my position. If you click on me, like if you had if you were telling your loved ones you were going out and you wanted to say, you can look me up, I'm KI6N8, well, you put your call sign, but KI6N8Z-7, and they'll be able to track your progress. How they do that is these are the stations that heard me, right? W6SCE, N6EX, NXEX, et cetera, et cetera. All those stations heard that beacon that I put out 5 hours ago. And it's possible they're not hearing me right now because there's just so many other beacons going on. Let me try and fire this off again. You know what? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn on the auto beaconing. I'm gonna turn on auto beaconing right now to make this happen faster. Okay. For anybody who wanted to know how to do this, I'm gonna show you right now. Okay, your deep F menu. Hold the deep F. Go to APRS. Go to beacon interval. We want to lower that down to, we'll go 3 minutes for now. And let's go to beacon transmit. We're going to go auto. So now it should just make it happen. We'll check your messages too, I promise. I don't know. Okay, we'll let it do its thing. That's one of the advantages, again, of doing this is you set on automatic beaconing, and one of those beacon types is smart beaconing, which we'll show before the show is up here. Right now I'm doing manual beaconing. I just set my radio to fire off a beacon every 3 minutes, but you can ramp that up to 60 minutes. You can ramp that to a minute, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. Another mode that some radios have, it highly leverages GPS capabilities, called smart beaconing. And that will basically keep an eye on how fast you're traveling. If you're making a lot of turns, if your elevation is going up and down, it will beacon more often. If you are just on a long, straight road, it's not going to beacon nearly as much. So it's smart enough to know when to beacon and when not to beacon, which will save you battery life. So that's very valuable. That is going to be radio by radio, though. Not all radios do that. Not all radios. Let's do a refresh here and see if I got picked up again. Go back here. All right. What time is it? No, not time yet. So yeah, this is a good tool for basically seeing where you're at. Yeah, still don't know what's going on. Very weird. Of course, I do this right before the show, and it works perfectly as I'm testing things out. And then when I go live, it doesn't work. When was that? No, that's wrong. But anyway, here's another feature I wanted to show. Far right side of the screen, there is 2 circles. If you click them, this will give you the footprint for the stations that heard me. So here's me, and those were the stations that picked me up and the footprint of their coverage. and this is a PHG setting that you put in your beacon path or your beaconing comment, and that will give you information when you come and look at this on, you know, how did I look, or who heard me, and what's their value. Wes has a question. I meant show me on the map as well as my use case. Do my wife can see where I'm at? Oh, okay. I might do that. I might do that. I might do that indeed. Hold on here. Yeah, Scott. Everybody's commenting on my hiding my location. I've dialed it back significantly. So, what does ambiguity do? Okay, great question. Let me show you. So this is highly leveraging grid squares, right? We've talked about grid squares in the past. So let me go back to my info page. So my info page says that my locator is DM03XU47QT. That is an extremely tight grid square. Like that's my front yard basically. Hey, thank you for the super chat from SK. Hi, I want to get into APRS messaging, but can't find an HT with messaging and a 10 key that are currently in production. You know, there's only one SK. It is the FT5. Oh, it doesn't have a 10 key. No, man, no. And oh man, now you've got. And we all missed the boat for those of us who don't have the D74. That's the one, but those things are unobtainium right now. Oh, cool. Joseph Collins just said he picked me up in Fresno with my little handheld. Very good. Only the VX6 has a 10 key. The FTDX1 has a 10 key. I'm hesitant to point you in the direction of the 878UX Plus because I haven't, or UV Plus, because I haven't used it yet. I don't know how the Anytone 878 UV 2 Plus. My problem is I haven't used it, so it's hard for me to recommend it. So no commercial potential, no co-po has been sending a lot of messages. He says, by the way, Hosh, this is like my 6th ham chat and no one helps me as a Ninja Cool Cat. I just want to hike and have stuff. So this show is, there's a topic. I'm talking about a topic. And if your questions are way off topic, then I'm not going to answer them. But that's why the Discord exists and the after chat. If you join us on the Discord, you can ask your questions. We start off every Discord with asking for newcomers or people with questions to come forward and ask those questions, and we try to answer them. That's why it exists. This show is a focus show because I try and bring information out. So that's what this is about. So hopefully that helps. I hope I can help you. This is the wrong time for it. So, and that goes for everybody. If you're not sending the APRS questions, I'm probably not going to answer them. Yeah, no apologies needed. No co-po, like the name, by the way. I just want to stay on the APRS focus a little bit. Okay, did I make it? Okay, going back to what I was saying about the locator. That DM03XU47QT, you can use your radio to crunch those numbers down to just say 6. And then it'll be a couple of miles off. You can be 60 plus miles off with 4 digits of deletion. 3 will bring it in, 2 will bring it in, 1 will bring it in, and then 1, is where you're relatively close to your house. Yeah, Whipbone. Everybody, after chat is always on the Discord on Saturdays. The only after chats I sometimes skip are Ham Nation, and that's just because I've got other stuff going on. It's usually a school night for me. But yeah, tonight, absolutely, we stay late and we talk ham radio into the wee hours. At least we try to. And if I'm not there, which I usually am, there's a ton of people in the room that can help everybody. So let's go back. Did I get a new? Hey, yes, we got myself. Okay, so I've got a new. I pinged, right? So here's my new location where I'm at. Let's go back to the map. My ping did make it, or beacon. And there I am. Where am I? Yeah, we'll go with that. Anyway, so I made it, and what do I have? I've got HRCC, which is just me, WinLink, and PHG in the comment line. Those are things that get used by services like WinLink, and then PHG is what gives us this cool overlay here. So if you add that to your comment line when you beacon, you will be able to see that stuff. So what does that look like? Well, let me show you what the comment line is, and the best way to do that is bring it over to the radio. So let's do that now. All right, going back to the FT5 here. Somebody said it was a bit blurry. Oh, is it manual focus? It is manual focus. Jeez. I know what I'm doing. I got this under control. I get so many signals that when I hold the button down, if I'm getting APRS signals, the buttons won't work. So you go to the APRS. Let me go back a step. This is the main screen for the deep F menu. Hit APRS, and you go to beacon info, I believe. Let me check that. Close. I've got ambiguity on 2 digits, and then I've got the other stuff on for altitude, speed, and that whole stuff. And let's see, where is it? Is it up here? APRS message text is where you can... APRS message text is where you can create like a batch list of messages that you can reply with. That's not what we're looking for, though. We'll go down here. Beacon status text. Okay. I have turned on my status text. Text rate is 1 of 2, which I think you can actually, if I remember correctly... Yeah, you can change that up to do different rates of text. But then down here, text 1, if I click that, it says push the F menu. Push that again. So this is the block of text that my radio is going to send every time I beacon, which can be helpful in the case of WinLink, that WinLink tag, and PHG, or you can just tell people about who you are and what you're up to. And they do give you a lot of characters to do it, but it's kind of a pain in the butt because it's like you're literally using the on-screen keyboard to do it. So it's not the greatest time. Just keep that involved, or keep that in your mind. All right, let's go back to our messages here and see if we got a WinLink message. Oh man, so many messages came in. Okay, I want to show you what a WinLink message looks like. So here's a WinLink message that I sent earlier. It says you have, so WinLink is in my little beacon text, right? When I beacon out. And so the digipeater got it. It got picked up by an iGate. The iGate processed it with the APRS system. And then it went to WinLink saying, hey, Josh, KI6NAZ, he said WinLink in his little beacon text. So WinLink says, oh, Josh has one WinLink message pending. Let him know. And so that gets forwarded back to me via the digipeater, via the iGate, and then hits my radio. So that's what that looks like. Let's look at some more messages, though. We'll go back up to the top here. So thank you, everybody, for the messages. Appreciate that. APRS is oh, hey, I know this call sign. W8KJR. Hi, Fang Daddy. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now, here's something that they should have implemented on the FT3, that when you're in the message read page, that you can just scroll between messages. That would have been much more helpful than the way they've done it. Because now you got to back out, go to the next one. I feel like sometimes I should be hired as UI, as just like a UI liaison. Because look at this. I don't want to see this. I want to see the message. Hello from Texas again. KI5NPL, you made it, buddy. Thank you. And again, click the button. 73 from Washington State. Thank you very much. Not the greatest. I guess these weren't designed for people who get like, 30 messages in 10 minutes. I don't know. Thanks for the stream. Thank you, KE0RIY. That was a DAS 7, so he's using his phone. Oh, here's an interesting one. It's this one. OYIR. Hello from the Faroe Islands. Enjoying the stream, or the enjoying something. So I'll take that as a thumbs up. That's from OYIR. Okay, now I'm curious. I do like the white light though that tells you have a message. That's slick. Now I'm curious. Now I'm very curious. Hold on. You guys are talking about Wrangler Star in the chat? Really? Oh, because of his interesting videos that he makes involving Baofangs? Faroe Islands. OYIR. Hey, that's cool. Right on. Thank you for the message. I appreciate we're leveraging the internet pretty heavily to get the messages across, but it's a lot of fun, right? I hope so. Anyway, back to the radio. I had to look that up. Sorry about that. Apparently, I'm beaconing like a madman now. Greetings from Fort Wayne from KM6 TWI. Thank you. 73 thanks from W7VEG. Very good. All right. So that's the idea. I think everybody gets the the concept of it. Fire off some more questions. Anybody have some more questions before we wrap this up? Yeet Yeet from N0YEP. No Yep. I like it. I like No Yep. That's a great name. No Yep. Yeah, Cody has some strong opinions on ham radio operators, and I think he's and largely, and let me be really clear, that's largely from the anonymous comments that people post on YouTube. I don't think ham radio operators are any more salty than anyone else in any of the other areas. He gets hate on all the time, and he gets a lot of hate. There's a subreddit just on bagging on Cody. I don't think he's necessarily a bad guy, but at the same time, I don't know him any more than we all do from just watching his videos. Good question from Greg. What's the average cost of the entry-level APRS? Couple of recommendations. Sure, buddy. I can help you out with that, and we may wrap up with this. By the way, it's at Ham Radio Crash Course if you have a question. Otherwise, I'm just not going to see it. All right. So let me pull this up. By the way, this is the cable I'm going to pull up right here. So thank you, OYIR, for making a little message there with me. Okay, so here's the first step. You need this BTEC APRS K1 cable. It's an audio interface that terminates into the two-prong Kenwood connector. $22. Okay, so that's step one. Then you're going to need a Baofeng, basically, or a radio that has the same connector as a Kenwood. You'll need your phone dongle, and you need a phone or a tablet. I use that little Lenovo, this guy. Again, link is in the description on the video where I talk about this little tablet. This is a $100 tablet. It's an Android tablet. Wonderful little ham radio device. And if you don't trust me, you can trust Dennis86DM. He's been working with that thing like a madman. Wonderfully little cool thing. And then you got to go buy the app. Generally, you're going to pay for APRS.fi, and I think you can pay for APRS Droid. Both of them deserve the payment, by the way. They're good. The only, I think APRS, yeah, APRS.fi has a one-time payment. But anyway. Don asks, so to easily use messaging, what is the minimum set of equipment without going through menu? Oh, Don, if you didn't watch my tablet video, go watch the tablet video. Literally, the tablet, this little tablet is what I use to type my messages on. And that makes all the difference. That's what I use. In fact, yeah, we're running a little long, but I may demonstrate that just to remind people. But seriously, go watch the video because I do cover it. You can add a little Bluetooth keyboard. I did that too. A little laptop will work. Bluetooth enabled with the Mobi Link. I use my... Oh, Don, you can use your... Can you? What am I thinking about? You would need an APRS client on a Windows computer to be able to do APRS. So you could do that. Would the FT3 require external hardware to allow typing on a non-obnoxious interface for messaging? Maybe. I have no idea what that is. And that was a question from D3 Jake, but I can look into it. Joe Nasty, what's up? Says, can you explain the prefixes on the received beacons? Prefixes? Are you talking about the dash number with the SSIDs, the suffixes? Prefix? Maybe am I... Okay, hold on. Let me go back to APRS.fi. So we're going to go back. We gotta go back. You're talking about the dash 10s, dash 1s, dash 4s, dash 10? I'm assuming. No, do greater than call sign. You, Joe, let's talk on the after chat on that one, because I don't think I'm understanding completely. Scott says, glad to see you find the WinLink alert useful. I do, yes. How does one text from cell to HT? James Conover asks. So, your word... It's just reverse, right? I think it's just reverse. Somebody drop it in the chat. Let's see if they know. Sending messages. Because somebody sent me a message and they had their phone number. From APRS. Oh, somebody had... Interesting. How did they do that then? I must have texted them. So yeah, somebody texted me. Anyway. So yeah, it must have been a reply. Okay. Marcus Grip. The Pico APRS only has 2 buttons. Change character and advance send. That message from KC1GSL took me 3 minutes to write. Okay, hold on. I'll have to see where you sent it because I did move devices, so hold on. Okay, what was his call sign again? He said 3 minutes to do it. Did I already say your call sign? I hope I did. KC1GSL. I got it. Okay. He said, hello from FN42 Boston. So there you go. I got you in there. You made it. 3 minutes. 2 buttons. 2-button messaging control. The most efficient input message. Morse code would be, we should go to a Morse code based APRS payload body creation. That's funny. David Fuller says, explain getting the messages via the computer or tablet. Go watch that video on the tablet. That will explain, because I'm already out of time here. Skeeter K7TRD asks, HT versus mobile APRS. Well, I have an FTM 400 in my car. It works really well for APRS, and the screen's bigger, so, and you get 50 watts, so you're going to do better with the mobile, for sure. So, okay. Well, I hope that was... I hope I covered a lot of the bases. The smart beaconing was something I forgot to mention, but I think we caught that at the end. And, you know, beacons, you can set it to a timer. And some are smart enough to be able to do a little bit more intelligently. No commercial potential, no copo asks. So if people volunteer to do testing, how is it official that the FCC, or should anyone... Let's go to the after chat with that. Again, you're trying to take the topic away from APRS, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. Anyway, this was a patrons pick episode, meaning the patrons voted for this out of a list of, gosh, almost 20-something options that I put up. So this one was voted highly above all others, this particular episode. So really, I love APRS. I love talking about it. I love having fun with it. I would do this more often, except I don't know how much people love APRS. Getting the messages, doing the things, it's all a lot of fun. But you know, I never know. I don't want to assume. Let's pull up Wes now that I know he's driving. I just thought about that. Okay, we're gonna pull up Wes. He's a proper trucker here. and then we're going to wrap things up. So you've got, you're going out, you're doing a road trip. Let's assume you're a person doing that. So we're going to go to WE5 MAG-14. It would help if we're connected here. WE5 MAG-14. There we go. Okay, got it. All right, so we're following Wes live. He's in his truck, and the 14, right? We talked about the SIDs or SSIDs. We're following Wes live. So let's see. Let's follow the little trail here. This pink line is kind of doing its best that it can to track where he's going, but so far it seems to be doing all right. And he's getting picked up by different digipeters as he's going along. That's a pretty good example, right? So he is on, he's got his frequency that he's monitoring listed, which is 146.520 megahertz. So he's listening to simplex, which is handy. So if you catch a beacon from him, you can be like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna fill up the APRS frequency. I'm just gonna do the simplex with Wes and see if we can make a contact. Well, where is Wes? He's just outside the Little Bighorn Battlefield National Monument. There you go. So that's kind of how that works. APRS.FI tries to paint a line, as you can see here when he was taking the roundabout, this dog leg off of 90, whatever. I don't know if that's Interstate 90 or whatever, but you see how it just drew a straight line because there wasn't enough beacons as he was going through Hardin and Dunmore and all that. If he had dropped, if he had gotten picked up a couple of times on the way, it would have tried to soften this line and brought it more accurately around. But because the two beacons they caught were the current one that got picked up by this digipeater, right? So this digipeater picked him up. Where is it? Come on. Come on. You were just showing it to me. Oh, now it's not drawing the lines anymore. Let's do this. Also, sometimes this website's a little buggered. It's sometimes, so it's supposed to be popping stuff up and telling me who heard who at any time. It's not doing that. Anyway, all right, let's see. Thanks for the stream. Thank you from the Unlucky Ham. Thank you. Scott K0WAV says local Skywarn group used APRS during storm spotting deployments. Yeah, I would absolutely be doing that. That is a fantastic idea to be doing that for sure. All right, guys, I really do appreciate it. I got to wrap things up here so we can go start the after chat. So please join us over in the after chat. Link is in the description to Discord. It is a voice and text server. The text chat goes on 24/7. And we cover everything from ham radio questions, going out in the field, spots and skeds if you want to set up contacts with people or let people know that you're going to be out in the field. You can use the Ham Radio Crash Course Discord for all of that. We've got ham radio memes. We've got all of our nets and other fun stuff that we coordinate via Discord. The link is in the description. This after chat is a voice and text chat, so if you don't feel like you want to get on the microphone, that's fine. You can still hear and listen to us. No problem with that. But if you do want to get onto the voice, go join the link and make sure you go into the settings and set up the push to talk button. That'll make things all a lot easier, I promise you. Anyway, I appreciate it. Let's get things going. I made a new 3D rendered. Patrons, thank you. So thank you, patrons. I do appreciate it. Jody got my, here's your raw data just to show the MIC-E compression. Ah. Yeah, see, that's my raw, above my head here, this Jody comment. That's my raw packet, basically. And we could, if we wanted to, sit down and actually break that out into its disparate parts and why do this. But still, pretty efficient system. It's, since the 1980s and still better than ever. I'd argue that we should all carry little devices and extra cables and phone apps to be able to do APRS at any time. So, yeah. All right. Yes, James Hannibal. This is the type of stuff he's into. Quirky typeface. It's very I don't know what it is, but yes, look at the 3D color shifting. This one, that color didn't do it as well. The Hall of Famers on the top had more color gradation. The white didn't do a very good job. That bums me out. Thank you, Jerry. I really hope it helps people. I know some of these go a little long, but hopefully it's packed with information that you can use. I will try and go in and I always tell myself I'm going to go in and I'm going to add the table of contents. I really do need to do a better job at that. If there's anybody who feels like they're up to that task and you want to leave a comment with the @ timestamps, I'll post it in the description of the video. And that'll help people out, and I'll give you a shout out for doing it. There was somebody who was doing it for a while, and they did a great job, and I miss that. So, all right. Hey, the Brew Crew! I did finish my chalice of breakfast beer. So yeah, look at the color gradation on the producers, and then right there, look at the color. The color. Yeah, I don't know why the white one didn't do that, but we'll sort it out next time. The carries, yes, I do need to add the iPhone APRS cable to our Baofeng equipped go bags. You should. Why not, right? Anyway, thanks everybody. I'm going to the Discord here shortly. I will talk to you later. Let me play you out with some memes. See ya.